So the biggest thing I want to suggest to you guys right now, and I know it's not Workout Wednesday or anything, but this is huge. Drink water. It's getting way too hot for that, and Legendary Duelist Abyss might just cool some things down. But seriously, drink water. Yes, that was a pun, but seriously, drink water. What's going on with y'all, big dog? And it is an amazing day for Yu-Gi-Oh! I hope that your day is going phenomenal, but if it isn't, don't let what happened at the beginning of your day ruin the rest of your day. Speaking of days, it is Duelist Tuesday, where every Tuesday we rank a specific category on Yu-Gi-Oh! All the way from the very best to, oh no, what are you doing, baby? In today's tier list, we are going to be rating the very best rogue decks in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Format, and to make things a little bit spicier, we're going to be using it post-Legendary Duelist Abyss, Denizens of the... I don't know why I call it that, but it's like the Abyss set that's coming out on the 17th. I don't know, I think Denizens of the Deep would have been a better set name. Jumping on into this tier list, of course, we have 5 different categories here. We have the top rogue. These are the strategies that are the best of the best. The cream de la crop. These are the rogue strategies that if you want to go rogue, these should be the ones you should consider playing. From there is really good. These strategies are not that bad. Maybe you have an attachment to one of these particular strategies, but they still just so happen to be pretty good inside of this particular meta. It takes a really good pilot. It's no slight to your strategy. I'm just acknowledging that it takes a player that knows the ins and outs of your particular strategy to be able to succeed against some of the top decks. Could be better strategies that are not in their best moment right now. Maybe consider not playing these particular strategies for the moment. And then, of course, oh no, what are you doing, baby? Has been renamed for this particular rogue tier list to casual. Now, I'm not saying that your casual deck can't beat the top deck. I'm pretty sure you're going to let me know down below how your casual deck is so powerful it could beat the best deck in Yu-Gi-Oh! But to be objective, we don't see these casual decks going around whooping on the best decks in Yu-Gi-Oh! And they are more towards that casual range. Starting off with our very first archetype, Weather Painters, I would have to say that it takes a really good pilot to manage. There's a couple of things that Weather Painter does have going for it. First of all, their new spell card, the Weather Forecast, is busted. It allows them to gain an additional link summon and then link with their weather cards. Oh my god, are there canvas spell and trap cards? That is ridiculously good. Also, the Weather Painter Rainbow is one of the better Weather Painter cards in existence. Not only is this card a disruption itself, but it gives all of your Weather Painter monsters pointing to it a disruption. The problem with Weather Painter, well, I mean, those canvas cards are not good at all. The canvas cards for the Weather Painter cards are extremely subpar. It feels bad to even play them inside of your deck. Even the Weather Forecast knows this, as it tells you to link off those cards. And while it does give your Weather Painter monsters additional quick effects, they're just not overall amazing cards. They're not going to overwhelm you, which is going to take a really good pilot to be able to manage. A couple of quick points with the Weather Painter is that first, this deck can play Mystic Mind, so there you have it. It's a deck that's really good at doing that. And secondly, Anti-Spell Fragrance does not affect this deck, as it does place the cards to the side of the field and not activate. Moving forward, Access Code Talker is going to stand for the Code Talker strategy. I think this is another strategy that does take a really good pilot to be able to master. There are 2 forms of Code Talker. There's the Code Talker Control version, which unfortunately just gets outclassed by so many other strategies in today's Yu-Gi-Oh! DECODE Talker HEATSOUL does allow you to draw cards, but unless you're drawing multiple hand traps and non-engine cards, drawing engine cards does not help here, then you're not doing anything with that particular card. There's the Code Talker Extra Link strategy, which is actually fairly good. Unfortunately though, this isn't the same stage as Pendulum, and I do think Pendulum is another strategy that takes a really good pilot to be able to master, as you're going to need to know the ins, the outs, the nuances, and everything in between in order to play Code Talker as effective as you can. Invoked has actually dropped to the Rogue tier, and it's kind of crazy. The reason why Invoked is in the Rogue tier, though I do think it's a fairly good deck, is because it 100% loses the cards like Dimensional Barrier. And Dimensional Barrier is a card that players are playing to go against both Sword Soul and Despia. Now, the trade-off with Invoked is that You get a weaker deck when you play invoked with your branded cards, unfortunately, meaning that the invoked cards are off to the side right now. I would like to say that invoked is down but not out. Right now, at this very second, is not his format, but that's actually okay. Competitive strategies go from relevance to irrelevance from time to time, and it's actually okay for this to happen because soon enough, invoked will be back into the relevant situation. If I had to pick a invoked strategy that would be best, I mean, invoked Wind Witch is really enticing because being able to synchro summon and make Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon alongside Mamekaba is really good, especially since you can't be locked by Dimensional Barrier. But I'm still probably going to have to go with Shaddoll. Even though Winda isn't as powerful as a card that it used to be, it still can lock down your opponent in certain situations. Burning Abyss is in a strategy, is in a form where it could be better. This is an Exceed based deck. Doesn't have any new support. Divine Arsenal Double Zeus is not a bad card, but it's not going to carry you games like how it used to. The best thing about Burning Abyss right now would be Fairy Tale Snow is off the Forbidden List. I think an Orbital Hydrolander build built around being able to destroy your opponent's cards, maybe even going second and OTKing would be best. But the problem with this deck is that there are so many amazing cards in this Yu-Gi-Oh strategy or in this Yu-Gi-Oh format, like a simple Mirror Jade effect or a Sword Soul board, that Burning Abyss would just genuinely struggle as a going second deck. And with going first, your trap cards can only do so much before we start playing it in other trap-based decks that are just a little bit better. Blue Eyes, White Dragon, Blue Eyes players, you guys are casual, guys. And it's no slight to Blue Eyes players. The Blue Eyes strategy is really good. Actually, at the Los Angeles Regional, I played against a Blue Eyes player, and boy, he was actually doing his thing. I don't think that this is a slight to Blue Eyes players, but one thing we must understand is that Blue Eyes is not in its greatest spot. Blue Eyes Jet Dragon actually is amazing, though. It can summon itself anytime a monster is destroyed, meaning that if you destroy your opponent's monsters, you can summon Jet Dragon to your side of the field. I thought that that was phenomenal. That was awesome. That's really cool. And that is a beacon of hope for the Blue Eyes strategy, in my opinion. Moving forward, Sharks. Where do I put Sharks? Yo! With the legendary Duelist, Denizens of the League, I'm going to keep calling it that because it's Duelist Pack, Duelist Abyss. That's so trash. I'm going to go ahead and call it a top rogue strategy. Sharks were already that fringe contender that a lot of players needed to really look at because it's extremely good. What put Sharks over the top? The new Abyss Shark from the Duelist Pack, Duelist League. I'm actually really excited to potentially play Sharks against a top meta deck and see how it fares. Reason being is because the Abyss Shark actually gives Sharks an extender past being disrupted with cards like Infinite Impermanence and Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. As we know, those cards are really powerful and popular inside of the format, but the Abyss Shark gives you another line of play, as well as a way to OTK your opponent and being able to play through multiple disruptions. Extremely excited for the Shark strategy, especially now that the deck has access to those rank 5 monsters. Those can actually be pretty powerful. Cyber Dragon is in a really interesting spot. The loss of Predaplant Vert Anaconda, I think I'm going to put it in that could be better because it's in a similar situation as Burning Abyss. Now, the reason why I say this is because Cyber Dragon summoning himself to the side of the field is always a disruption, but we're not even in a link format. So that doesn't hold as much weight as you would want it to be. The second thing about Cyber Dragon is that the loss of Vert means that you have way less powerful boards. Opening up a Cyber Dragon Infinity is not going to be it if that's your only disruption. That means that Cyber Dragon may have to switch to a trap-based route, but why play a trap-based route of Cyber Dragon when you can probably just be better off playing a trap-based route of Outlich? This puts Cyber Dragon in that Burning Abyss category. It's not a bad trap deck, but it could be better. I don't think right now is its time. Dinomorphia, guys. I genuinely think Dinomorphia is a casual deck. Dinomorphia players are going to be really, really upset. No, I'm just playing with you guys. I know you guys had a heart attack right now. Don't lose all your life points, guys. Chill out. You guys are easily a top rogue deck. You like how I got you, though. The reason why Dinomorphia is different from Burning Abyss and Cyber Dragon is because, first of all, Dinomorphia actually gives you a lot of benefits from playing a trap-based deck. Not only is it immune to cards like Summon Limit if you decided to play that, the trap cards that you could search are a part of its engine as well, whereas with Burning Abyss and Cyber Dragon, it's not necessarily native. The biggest thing is being able to summon Dinomorphia Rexsturm to your side of the field. That card I have seen win games on its own. Being able to prevent your opponent from activating monster effects with life points lower then you're like, I'm sorry, being able to prevent your opponent from activating monster effects while your life points are lower than yours is kind of tricky in a Dynamorphia deck that gets to 69 life points, guys. It's almost really ridiculous how this deck can do. It's built on being able to grind your opponent out, stop all of the resources, and then on the next turn, OTK them. Not here for the long run, it's here for a good time, guys. Zombie World is also another one of those top rogue decks, guys. Easily, you already know what Zombie World does inside of this format against some of the top decks in Yu-Gi-Oh! Completely shuts them down. And the thing that I really like about Zombie World is that it is a relatively cheap deck. I think the most expensive card that you'll probably have to get is Retort Fusion. That card allows you to get into essential zombie extenders, and then for a substitute for Baron de Fleur, which is a card that's very good, but the Xin Ying Sword Soul monster is actually a really good substitute regardless. The zombie strategy takes full advantage of Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring being the best zombie monster. Doom King Balladrak, as you know, can already negate that or trigger its effect to be able to banish cards on the field. The zombie deck got ridiculously expensive post-Dimension Force, and I think it's going to be one of those top contenders because Zombie World does ruin days. Next is Monarch, guys. I'm a huge fan of Monarchs. Before I put Monarchs in that casual tier, I just wanted to let you guys know, and I know that there are a lot of players that really do enjoy Monarchs as a strategy, but there are some really big problems with Monarchs that keep it from being even a top rogue deck. The first deck is, if I ever wanted to build a house and I had no materials, I definitely pick up a Monarch deck, because this deck definitely has enough bricks to build a whole nother empire state building or whatever structure I want to be able to build. Monarchs definitely do not get you consistently. That sounded like a whole bunch of convoluted words. I sound like a politician right now, right? But Monarchs don't consistently get you the hands that you want at a longer level event. That is the first problem. The second problem with Monarch is that domain of the true Monarchs, their field spell card. I apologize if I said that card wrong. It's a fairly good card, but the problem with that is that players have already figured out that if I can use Dimensional Barrier to stop you for one turn, I can OTK you right afterward, or I can just Artifact Scythe Lock you, which are actually infinitely better cards because they require a lot less setup. Then there's also the Monarchs Erupt. This card allows you to negate all monsters that... This is literally a worse skill drain. Just play a skill drain deck. Literally every single one of Monarch's best talking points are out-resourced to better cards, unfortunately. So Monarchs are definitely going to be in that casual, at least until they get more consistent. That's one thing you can hope for Monarchs. And hopefully that does happen fairly soon. Live Twin, I think, are really good. This deck will be so much better when Power of the Elements comes out in about 3 months. SPLIGHT will make this deck a lot better. But until then, Live Twin is going to be a strategy that you can play a ton of hand traps in and then make your link for Trouble Sunny to be able to abuse cards and hopefully be able to gain tempo. Now, where the strategy doesn't do well in is when your opponent can still make that one disruptor to stop you at that critical choke point, and that's something that decks like Despia can do. It's really unfortunate that Fluundereeze can just Dreaming Town your entire combo away. Mirror J can get rid of your most important cards. The Drytron strategy will just Vanity's Ruler you, which does not feel great. In Sword Soul, well, yeah, I mean, you got to open the stones to be able to get past this board. And the board that you make isn't as powerful. But again, once post-Splights come out, it might be a lot different. Fluffles, I got to say, takes a really, really good pilot. You got to be able to master the Fluffle strategy, go second, and play through dimensional barriers, guys. It's not fun. The good thing about Fluffles is that it has adapted the Link monsters fully and can be able to make boards like Appaloosa Bowl of the Goddess without even needing the fusion summon, so at least you have some reprieve in case you do get dimensional barriered. But I really do like this strategy in 2022 as a going second deck, OTK deck. The problem is dimensional barrier. Earth Machine, easily top row, guys. Literally, when I was talking about Monarchs and I said that they have a skill drain that's worse, yeah, this deck can actually play skill drain. It plays some of the best floodgates in the world. There's Rivalry of the Warlords and Gozen match, completely preventing your opponent from playing Yu-Gi-Oh! If you have them both face up, unless you're an Earth Machine player. And Therion King Regulus definitely helps this deck so much, giving it a form of negation to be able to stop you from stopping me, but also allowing you to have an extender. The MARINCESS strategy, guys, post of, what is it? Abyss, a Duelist pack, Abyss Duelist, whatever. Post the Abyss Duelist. I'm going to put it in a really good category. I think that the jury is still hung on this strategy. And my biggest problem with MARINCESS is that through all of the combinations that I've seen this deck plays, it requires 2 and 3 card combos. If this deck can facilitate itself down to a 1 card combo, perfect. Like a 1 card 3 disruption combo, perfect. But through testing, the only way, the best way is a 2 card combo, and it's very specific. I do think that the new MARINCESS Argonaut is amazing, being able to negate your opponent's spell and trap cards. Unfortunately, it says on your opponent's turn only. I really hate how they nerf MARINCESS. It's ridiculous. They genuinely had no business doing that to a strategy that was never competitive. There's also MARINCESS Coral Triangle, which allows you to add your infinite impermanence and MARINCESS Wave. I'm really excited about that card. And then their new spell card and MARINCESS Dive is also amazing. Definitely helps the MARINCESS strategy. I actually did go against one of those at the YCS or at the a huge regional event, and it was doing pretty well. So with the new support, I can only imagine that it's doing better. So next, where exactly do we put heroes? Actually, this is kind of ironic. I think heroes are a top rogue deck, but there are so many bad hero players that you gotta put them in. Takes a really good pilot. You got to look. Hero players, do not take this as a slight. It legitimately takes a really good pilot to be able to play heroes. It's almost a compliment, but there's way too many bad hero players in Yu-Gi-Oh, which is, it kind of balances y'all out. The biggest draw for heroes is being able to summon Destiny Hero Phoenix Enforcer. You guys finally have that as almost exclusively your card now. That card is completely bonkers, being able to destroy cards and come right back. Is to snack that smile back, boys. But the biggest problem with heroes is, again, dealing with Dimensional Barrier, as it is a fusion-based deck. Fortunately enough, cards like Mass Change allow you to make Dark Law on your opponent's turn, and while that card isn't necessarily great against decks like Despia or Sword Soul, it can do some damage against some of the other top decks in Yu-Gi-Oh! Agents are ridiculously good, guys. You guys are sleeping. Forget about artifact scythe locking your opponent, guys. Just summon Archlord Christia to your side of the field and prevent special summoning all across the board. I genuinely feel that agents are ridiculously slept on. To be honest, if I really could, I would put it into tier 2 status because it definitely has a lot of things going for it. One of the more important things is being able to almost instantly search some of the best cards like Lost Sanctuary, which gets you more negation as well as more cards to your side of the field, and being able to synchro summon on your opponent's turn, fully using Krishan Hockley Fabrics to make a Formula Synchron and make Trishula, just like how the good old days, right, guys? I really love the versatility of this deck and its ability to be able to continuously play Yu-Gi-Oh! Despite playing at least 3 bricks with Mystical Shine Ball. I think Mech Knights is in the really good category. You guys know when we enter a format where players are playing Mystic Mine and Dimensional Barrier, Mech Knights is in a really good spot because you don't really, you have ways to play around Mystic Mine and you don't care about Dimensional Barriers. So like, the problem with Mech Knights is that when you get to the higher levels of play, those players start to like not put cards in the same column. They're not going to give you easy wins, which means that you have to outgrind every single win, which is a huge problem. I do love that Destiny Hero Phoenix Enforcer did get banned. Or I'm sorry, the Vert did get banned to prevent Destiny Hero Phoenix Enforcer because that was one of the deck's biggest problems. This is also a strategy that can search Cypher and Gear Gamma, so watch out for it. It's very good. Phantom Knight easily, guys. We talked about it. It is the top rogue deck, guys. This deck is ridiculously good. It is perfecto. One of the few strategies that can artifact scythe lock you, and it can grind you into a pulp. I really do think that the deck needs to revert back to using Phantom Knight's Rusty Bardish, abusing the fact that when you summon X-Seat monsters like Breaksword under it, you can destroy cards on the field and then destroy cards again with the Breaksword, or special summon them to your side of the field with your Infinite Impermanence or Fiendish Chain for you Yugi Boomers like card and Phantom Knight's Fogblade, as well as special summon an X-Seed monster under Bardish on your opponent's turn for another disrupt. I think that this deck is a lot better than what people give it. Solomon Great also top rogue. There's actually, we're in a really good format where rogue decks are just like, they're really good if you know how to play them very well. And Solomon Great can play all of the hand traps that you need to be able to slow down your opponent. Turn 2, it's making that access code talker and OTKing you. Another thing I want to mention is that Solomon Great can actually make Baguska, and in a format where Link monsters kind of don't exist as much, being able to make Baguska and like literally shut down your opponent's entire game plan until you have the resources is definitely something that is welcome. Tri-Brigade is also a top rogue strategy. You guys are sleeping on Tri-Brigade, guys. everyone is sleeping on Tri Brigade. Forget about the Mirror Jade combo. Forget about it. Yes, there is a Mirror Jade combo, guys. It's like a 1.5/2 card combo where you can make Mirror Jade without Predapline Vert. Forget about it, though. Forget about it. Why? Because Pot of Desires is that, too. I almost forgot about that. You got to play one cards that you don't want to banish off of Desires. Pot of Desires is off, too. This is how you play Tri Brigade. Big brain your opponent, play tons of hand traps, out advantage, and put BBWs in the graveyard. Seriously, Shuraig is still a one-man walking army, being able to banish on resolve. So it doesn't matter what your opponent does with that Branded in red. They're either going to lose their monster before they use the Branded in red, or they're going to summon a new monster and have it banished with Shuraig. Tri Brigade Revolt allows you to facilitate this while also getting you a search and a send to the graveyard. This is kind of ridiculous. The Tri Brigade strategy did not fall off. It did not. I think probably the best way to play it is pure, maybe even abusing Harpy's Feather Storms again, because you know that ends your opponent's turn. This deck is completely incredible. TRICKSTAR, I feel, takes a really good pilot. The reason why I say this is because TRICKSTARs were never really good. I know there was a TRICKSTAR Sky Striker variant back in 2018, but that was more Sky Striker than TRICKSTAR, guys. Let's be honest. The TRICKSTAR strategy, what it has going for it, is Droll and Lockbird, being able to use that in combination with your opponent searching, or well, you need this card too, and a TRICKSTAR Reincarnation or two if your opponent is not searching. How this works is that you activate your Droll and Lockbird on the resolution of your first TRICKSTAR Reincarnation, and then you chain another TRICKSTAR Reincarnation. Your opponent will lose their entire hand and won't be able to draw cards, and that can essentially win you the game. TRICKSTAR engine is also small enough for you to play a whole bunch of cards. Like literally, you just play a whole bunch of crazy cards, super polymerization. It doesn't matter. Just play whatever you think can win the game, and your TRICKSTAR monsters can come up for you on time. Now, I was actually made aware that there is a Yuumi deck. The Kiryu-Kishin, and apologize for saying this right, the Kiryu-Kishin is 100% casual, guys. Literally, do not play this deck. It's so bad. I've tested it. I've tried it. It's bad. It's bad. It's terrible. Yo, everything that you want to do with the Kiryu-Kishin deck can be done with Sharks. It's terrible. Do not play this deck. It has no draw to it. I guess the new Kiryu-Kishin card, it's like, it's good. It allows you to search cards that list Yuumi in its name, and like a Legendary Ocean is always Yuumi, so you can, it's not good. It's not good. It's just not good. It's not good. So where would I put Unchained, the last strategy on this tier list? Well, it's definitely not casual, guys. Don't worry, Unchained players. I ain't gonna do you like that, and it's not in the could be better status. I kind of want to put it in It Takes a Really Good Pilot and allow me to explain. The Unchained strategy, no, it's not, okay, it's not necessarily linear, but there are things that you need to learn. Like there's an order of operations you need to learn how to play this deck. It's not like these particular strategies where you got to play bad Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Actually, it's kind of both of these strategies. You got to learn how to play around really problematic cards like Dimensional Barrier. You got to learn what are the good cards for this strategy because there's so many, and you got to make a whole bunch of great anti-meta calls because this is more of an engine than the deck. So I wouldn't really put it there, and it feels safe to put it here, but yeah, I feel it's really safe to put it in the really good. Now, the reason why I don't put it in the top rogue is because every single one of these strategies have a very convincing argument for them to be able to play against some of the top decks. Unchained doesn't necessarily have that, but it's also a ridiculously good deck, especially in the right hands. I love the fact that you get to link off your opponent's monsters. It's really unfortunate that monsters like Shishao and Mirror Jade can kind of stop that. And I also love that destruction is the thing for Unchained, but it's also unfortunate that, you know, the Sovereign card exists for the Sword Soul strategy and Mirror Jade and stuff like that. So Unchained definitely does have some things going for it. It being a link deck definitely helps a ton, being able to potentially mainboard Dimensional Barrier and stuff. And then I think it could play Mystic Mine. So there's that. And that is all that we have for today's video. The Rogue tier list was extremely fun to do. Of course, if you think that there's some strategies that I missed, go ahead and let me know down below in the comment section. Actually, go through the comment section to make sure that I have all of the Rogue strategies. So in case you thought you were being ignored, you're not. And if you want to see more amazing videos, go ahead and check out these, as I'll catch you on the next one.